Hey everyone, Dark Magician of Team Sorcerers here, and welcome back to What If Wednesday, and this is another Robot Wars one of my ideas, and that is, what if Atomic flipped Typhoon 2 over in the semi-finals of the 7th Wars? Yeah, you saw how it went. Typhoon 2 was a bit slow starting, spinning its weapon, and Atomic almost flipped it over twice. In fact, during the second attempt, it ended up flipping itself over and couldn't get back up. Because there seemed to be a random problem with the gas. I don't know. And then, of course, as you saw, Typhoon 2 just went in and finished Atomic off. But what if that didn't happen? What if Atomic was able to successfully flip Typhoon 2 over before any problems happened, basically? Although there is a chance that it could flip itself over as well as Typhoon 2, in which case a rematch would have to be called for the first time since the third place playoff of the 5th Wars. And then the fight would have to restart, and that's basically ambiguous. But for the sake of the point of the video, Atomic manages to flip Typhoon 2 over, stays the right way up, and just leaves Typhoon 2 for dead. Well, naturally, this will change a lot of things. Typhoon 2's down and out, counted out, doesn't become the Series 7 champion. Atomic goes through to the grand final and is the only flipper to get through. Like, in a series where the semi-finals were mainly represented by flippers. This would mean that in the grand final, Atomic would face off against Exterminator. Now, the fight between Tornado and Storm 2 carries on the same way as in the real timeline. But as for Atomic and Exterminator, well, this should be pretty easy for Atomic, considering it's had bad luck with spinners before, mainly Hypnodisc in the 5th Wars, and it just managed to beat Typhoon 2 in this timeline. But luckily, Exterminator is slower, so Atomic has a chance. So it would instantly get to the side, flip Exterminator over, and get it on its back. And maybe try and flip it out the arena, but probably wouldn't risk it if they know what happened with the Tsunami fight. Because obviously Tsunami tried and failed to flip it out the arena, and that ended up completely backfiring. Although it's still quite surprising that Tsunami lost, because it's faster, more manoeuvrable. And looking back, I'm just thinking, how did Tsunami lose? But that's another story. So naturally, Atomic won't make the same mistake. And who knows, maybe depending on the angle, maybe they could get Exterminator out. Although it's a safer bet to just leave it on its back. So that being the case, Exterminator does get counted out, and Atomic will go on to face Storm 2 in the grand final. And then the playoff plays out near enough the same way. The only difference being this is a healthier Exterminator, which didn't get absolutely damaged to hell. But it doesn't matter, though, because Tornado is just way too strong for Exterminator. Exterminator just doesn't really get a chance to attack, gets shoved around. Um, might go to the judges, but Tornado still wins this and finishes third. And then the grand final fight. Yeah, this is where Atomic's good run comes to an end. It just struggles way too much against Storm 2, especially since those side skirts have been attached. Yeah, Atomic would just struggle way too much. It would just get rammed all over the place. Like maybe even flipped over by the lifting arm. It would still get back up, but it would be a struggle. Atomic's only chance would be to get behind Storm 2 and flip it over, because that's its most vulnerable point. Turn it upside down, and it can't do much upside down, and this would give Atomic a chance to get under Storm 2 more easily and flip it out. But who knows how likely that would be to happen. But yeah, other than that, I see this being a very boring, one-sided fight, and naturally Storm 2 would become the UK champion, much to the dismay of the producers, who were controversially trying to get Storm 2 eliminated, because in someone else's words, they didn't want another box on wheels winning. Hey, their words, not mine. So yeah, that would be that. Of course, even if by some miracle Exterminator does beat Atomic, it's the same thing. Exterminator would stand no chance at all against Storm 2. And it's hard to say who would win between Tornado and Atomic. It depends who'd get to whom first, although I guess Tornado would still more likely win. I don't know. But still, like I said, if Atomic is able to get behind Storm 2 and flip it over, then it has a better chance of winning the fight, and of course becoming the UK champion. And Atomic would be the first flipper robot since Chaos 2 to win the title. But yeah, that naturally that bad luck against Typhoon 2 just stopped that from happening, just going all the way. And then of course that controversial judge's decision for the fight between Typhoon 2 and Storm 2 wouldn't happen. And of course, with Typhoon 2 not reaching the grand final here, that means there'd be a different representative in the Third World Championship. I mean, naturally, Storm 2 and Tornado would still be in it representing England, but would Typhoon 2 even still be in it? Well, I guess if they are, then nothing changes, especially since they end up pulling out anyway. So I don't know, maybe there's a chance Razor could come back one more time just to defend the Third World Championship title. I don't know. But I already went over this scenario in a previous video, but yeah, anyway, this is basically what would happen if Atomic managed to flip Typhoon 2. Thanks for watching.